the National Legends Cars Championship in association with Park Lane Cars. Round 9 of the Legends Cars Championship, once again from Anglesey, and round 8 winners, Steve Whiteleg, Will Gibson and John Mickle are back with us. John Mickle second in the championship, which is led by Miles Rudman. Will Gibson in third from Steve Whiteleg, Marcus Pett and Jack Parker. It's another Whiteleg though, gets us underway. Steve's brother, Gary, he's down in the paddock.
Let's have a quick chat with Gary. It's been great to see you back in Legends Cars this year, Gary, and it looks like you're enjoying it still.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a championship that just keeps drawing you back in, mainly for the quality of the racing, but not only that, it's the atmosphere, the camaraderie within the paddock. Everybody is supporting each other. It is a top championship, and it just keeps bringing you back.
Is this I guess apart from Alton Park, this is probably one of the nearest circuits for you?
It is, yeah. I mean, Alton Park was always our home circuit, and it's something that I've raced at many times in the past. But Anglesey, again, as you say, it's only two and a half hours away for us, so we just thoroughly enjoy coming here. It's a great circuit. We get a great welcome, and generally we get a very good crowd here as well. So we look forward to the whole event. It's the old family Legends ethos, and it just fits the bill here in Anglesey.
Very sadly, since we recorded that interview, Gary Whiteleg's had engine problems and won't be taking to the grid today. That's a big pity. Wish him well. Hopefully see him back soon. Reverse grids as ever. The draw today has been very kind to Dylan Woodcock, who takes over from Dad Leonard. He's on pole position. Charlie Budd will be to his outside. That's the white 44. Row 2, father and son, Paul and Luke Simmons. Row 3, Kieran Beattie and Steve Whiteleg. Ben Higgins again is going to give us some great onboard footage as the cars come around the final turn on the green flag lap and get ready for 8 laps of Legends Cars National Championship action here on Anglesey. Race 4 of 6 of the weekend, and our second programme about to get underway. Budd and Woodcock. Charlie Budd with more racing experience out of the two. Ben Higgins looking back at Mark Beattie. We've got podium finisher Jack Parker, podium finisher yesterday, alongside. Great start by Charlie Budd, who leads them away. Steve Whiteleg to the outside leg, and does it go onto the banking up into 4th place. He's challenging hard. Jack Parker working well, but it's Charlie Budd, the race leader from Paul Simmons. 3rd position is Kieran Beattie at the moment, on board with Nick Bridgman. That's John Mickle immediately in front of us. Ollie Schlupp there as well in the blue and orange car. 14 is Dan Clark, who's just shy of the podium yesterday. Tell you what, it's a very good start indeed as Paul Simmons goes for the lead. Marcus Pett scored well yesterday. Simmons has got the lead. Brilliant stuff as they go up into Rocket. Dylan Woodcock on the outside, holding 3rd place now, but coming under pressure. Well, 2nd place that was, but Steve Whiteleg goes through. Whiteleg 2nd. Miles Rudman is up into 3rd place. Will Gibson up ahead of Gareth Sheridan and Dan Clark. Again, the view from Nick Bridgman. John Mickle looking to try and work his way through the field, passes the 98, or tries to pass the 98 of Chris Needham. Chris grabbing a fastest lap yesterday. Oh, John read that well, goes through on the inside. Brockhurst to the outside of Ollie Schlupp. That car back together after a shunt, you might remember yesterday. Thankfully Ollie was well, and the Mickle Motorsport Daves, as they're known, have put it all back together. But look at this for the lead. Steve Whiteleg and Paul Simmons having a super race out in the front of the field. Difficult to know where to look because there's plenty of 3-wide action going through the hairpin at the end of the Tom Price straight for the first time. The inside run though is going to be Steve Whiteleg, who takes the lead, and he's bump drafted through into the lead by Miles Rudman, who's now going to do his slot going on the inside. Paul Simmons still in 3rd place, but Miles Rudman goes through and into the lead. Whiteleg 2nd, Simmons in 3rd, Simmons Senior. Then it's Jack Parker in blue and gold. A little bit of a gap back to Will Gibson, followed by Ben Higgins, then Charlie Budd, Marcus Pett under pressure from John Mickle in the number 4. Then it's Kieran Beattie, Nathan Anthony, followed by Dan Clark, Luke Simmons, Mark Beattie in green, then Chris Brockhurst. A little bit crossed up was Jack Parker there in 4th position. And at the moment the car's settling down. They may well concertina up as the race continues. Marcus Pett and John Mickle, 2 of the fastest guys in the championship, working together up the hill into Rocket, but it's Miles Rudman out front. Steve Whiteleg, who won the first race of day 1 here on Anglesey. First win of the season for him. He'd been working towards that for a long time. He's always been quick, and that first win will just give him the added confidence to bring forward into day 2 of the race meeting. And still 4th in the championship, remember, Steve Whiteleg. Kieran Beattie up ahead of Dan Clark. Dan had a great race 3 yesterday. A little bit of dust being kicked up by Kieran, but it's Miles Rudman out front, the championship leader. 4,020 points, paying 3,620 for John Mickle. That's 400 points, which is 2 race wins. So effectively, Miles Rudman could sit out race 1 and 2, and if Mickle won both of those races, then he would equal Miles Rudman. But of course, Miles' mission isn't to give up races, it's to try and secure the championship as early as possible. And at the moment, as I say, a very good championship lead. Chris Needham ahead of Chris Brockhurst. 2 Chris's together and busy chasing Mark Beattie at the moment. A little wobble for Beattie as he came out of that final turn. Past the pit wall, into the left-hander at the end of the straight. Up into turn 2, Nathan Anthony in the Savannah. Clark down on the inside of Kieran Beattie. Nice move by Dan Clark. Has not had the rub of the green, Dan Clark, since his championship winning year. Must produce some decent luck now, and as I say, a very impressive drive yesterday. The car still not entirely to his liking. I think Will Gibson's car is to his liking. He's just about to effect the pass on Jack Parker. Saw the black and blue car going past the blue and gold machine. There's Nick Bridgman chasing Ollie Schlupp. Ollie's still one of the top rookies. It's going to be difficult to call the rookie battle over the course of the season with so many good, quick first-year drivers in the championship. Ben Higgins at the head of that little gaggle, and John's going to look down. John Mickle's going to look down the inside at Peel Corner. The corner incidentally named after John Peel, the DJ, who did his national service here on the Isle of Anglesey. And John was a keen motor racing fan. Been a while since I've pedalled that particular fact out, but Miles Rudman ahead of Steve Whiteleg. Battle on for 3rd. Will Gibson on the outside, side by side with Paul Simmons. Gibson runs over the rumble strips there, and in an attempt to grab the inside run here down into the last corner, which he's going to do, with Jack Parker following him through. So Gibson makes the move, Parker following through. Oh, they all got to work together. Good opening set of laps there from Paul Simmons. 2 birthdays today, including this man, Miles Rudman. Also, although we won't see him race today, Bill Reid in the 333 car to celebrate his birthday. He's having the day off, and he's handed the 333 team car over to Mick Mercer. So many happy returns, Miles Rudman. Many happy returns to Bill Reid as well. A lot of work to do for Will Gibson. Now, can he work with Jack Parker behind him in the blue and gold 13 to close up on the lead duo? It's still Miles Rudman there at the moment. John Mickle trying to come through. Jack Parker working with Will Gibson. This group headed by Luke Simmons from Kieran Beattie. Then it is Chris Needham. Those guys come up into Rocket. It's Luke Simmons leading that group at the moment, but out front Miles Rudman from Steve Whiteleg, trying to be hunted down by 57 Will Gibson. Races 1 and 2, 8 laps. The 3rd race 10, with the top point scorers from the first 2 starting at the back. Gives him an extra 2 laps to come through. And Chris Needham side by side here with Kieran Beattie. He's got the inside run as they go into Rocket. Meanwhile, the race leader still Miles Rudman. He'd be a brave man to bet against Miles Rudman for the race win off of a relatively front starting position. Steve Whiteleg started on row 3, so the draw being kind to him in the opening races of both of our Anglesey days, as Marcus Pett in mid-shot looks on the inside of Ben Higgins. Ben having another good learning weekend. There is John Mickle, the 2nd place man in the championship. His teammate Paul Simmons in behind. Simmons having a decent race here. Started, as I said, next to his son on row 2, and has held position well in the early laps. I think Will Gibson and Jack Parker beginning to close in on Steve Whiteleg in second place. Whiteleg again not that far away from Miles Rudman out front. Need to keep an eye on the fastest laps. Will Gibson fastest man on track at the moment in 57. But here is Rudman, wide moment there for Jack Parker. That won't afford him a fastest lap, but it will mean that the silver quick steel car of John Mickle will close in. Marcus Pett and Ben Higgins working together. They want to try and close in on Paul Simmons as they go up the hill and into Rocket once again. Charlie Budd following them. Gibson now, I think, is within the next lap or so, is going to be within striking distance of second place. Whether he can close down on Rudman or not, I don't know. But he is closing down on Steve Whiteleg. Steve's still fourth in the championship. Marcus Pett is fifth and Jack Parker sixth, despite missing 2 rounds at Brands Hatch. That's a very impressive run of results that we've had from Jack Parker. Quick look there at Ben Higgins, the young Welshman. And we said the battle is on now, isn't it? It's going to be cat and mouse for second place with Steve Whiteleg there at the moment. We've got a challenge on for fourth place as well. John Mickle passes Jack Parker for fourth, having loomed large in his mirrors after that little moment for Parker exiting Church Corner at the beginning of this lap. So into the final turn goes the race leader Miles Rudman. A little bit further back, Nick Bridgman still working hard in the 68, chasing Kieran Beattie. Kieran chasing Luke Simmons, who's there as well. Those guys just outside the top 10 at the moment, but having a good battle, a little bit sideways from Bridjo, and he's going to have a move. Still got momentum and looks down the inside of Kieran Beattie. Kieran fighting back though, and Kieran in the Park Lane cast machine knows that outside, if he defends it, becomes the inside for turn 2, the banking, and that was great driving by the pair of them. Good, clean, fair racing from them, and it means that Bridgman on the outside has got Chris Brockhurst going up the inside, but Bridgman's got a good run and I think has managed to make the place stick as they head into Church. Still battling for second though. Will Gibson now up into second place, and Steve Whiteleg in the Bridgman Motorsport car down to third. Is Will Gibson going to be able to close down on Miles Rudman? They had a blanket finish in race 2 yesterday, one of the closest finishes we've seen, with 3 of them side by side at the end, and we may well have the same in this one. And Steve Whiteleg challenging on the last lap, up at the hairpin on the international loop, challenging for second position in the race. It's going to be third position in the championship that he's battling for. But it looks like Gibson's got it covered as they come down the straight. Miles Rudman, the championship leader, will add another 200 points to his championship tally here. Goes through the last corner. Gibson there in second position. Steve Whiteleg in third, but it is the win for Miles Rudman, his second win of the weekend. Gibson second, Whiteleg third. John Mickle in fourth from Jack Parker and Marcus Pett. Further back though, the battling still continuing. Nathan Anthony wraps up the top 10 just ahead of Daniel Clark. Luke Simmons was behind them. Looks like a problem for Ben Higgins. That's a big shame for Ben. And a problem there as well. Eduardo Gallego taking over the 97 car from Florin Robin as a spin. Thankfully doesn't collect anybody. That was Mick Mercer's car going through. Eduardo just losing the one place there, so he will finish in 23rd. Gets plenty of applause from the pit lane for recovering, but it's Miles Rudman that takes the win in race 1 of round 9 of the championship, with Will Gibson in second from Steve Whiteleg. Here's confirmation of the result. Gibson taking fastest lap, 2 laps from the end. John Mickle fourth, then Jack Parker and Marcus Pett. Paul Simmons seventh from Charlie Budd, Chris Needham and Nathan Anthony. 11th goes to Daniel Clark from Luke Simmons and Nick Bridgman. Chris Brockhurst was next, then Kieran Beattie and Ollie Schlupp. Mark Beattie 17th from Gareth Sheridan. Luke Takashis 19th and 20th Dylan Woodcock ahead of Mike Schlupp. Mick Mercer, the recovering Eduardo Gallego and Stuart McAndrew. Let's join the cars as they head down into Victory Lane.
Miles, mate, can we get you over to the side and grab a quick word? Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well done, mate. Is it your birthday today?
It is, yeah.
George McNeil said you're 60. We don't believe a word of that, so you might want to go and sort him out afterwards. But a great way, nice place to come for your birthday, Anglesey,
For sure, yeah.
and grab a win. Talk us through that race. It was early doors, relatively early doors, getting to the front, but it wasn't easy.
No, it was just a case of really getting my head down and trying to focus on putting some good laps together, which I managed to do, and yeah, you know, focus on getting the win really. So like I say, it's my birthday today, so I'm 36, not 60.
Sort him out.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a good way to start your birthday, and obviously in a beautiful place like Anglesey and a lovely track. So yeah, really, really happy with that one.
Oh, you look a bit hot and flustered, Mr. Gibson.
Yeah, that was hard work. It's we've taken all weekend, but we finally have some breaks, so it's slightly less scary today in that race. But we just didn't have enough laps to catch Miles. But yeah, one or two more we may have got to him.
Brakes weren't working that well. You got the fastest lap on the anti-penultimate tour.
Yeah, well, brakes slow you down, so if you haven't got them, you normally go quite quick. You know, at Brands we set the fastest lap with the throttle sticking wide open, so yeah, we may have to do something and cut the brake line or something.
The whistle's blown, so it's going to be a quick word. A word with Whitelegged to get alliterative. Here he is. Well done, Steve. Yeah. Another podium after yesterday's win, which was great to see. And do you know what? You look less puffed out than Mr. Gibson did.
I don't know why, because I am. Yeah, it was that race sort of went to plan. I knew I could sort of get near the front fairly quickly, starting on the third row, and my idea was to just pump away. Miles caught me fairly quick. I've got terrible tyre issues, to be fair. My tyres seemed to be going away as the race went on, but I'm assuming that's the same for everybody. But yeah, managed to hold on, and third's better than fourth.
Ben, the season's going well. Obviously, we saw you on, was Pembrey your home track, getting the best result of the season?
Yeah, definitely closest to home for the tracks, and we seem to have good points considering our other races. You know, we've been struggling to get finishes. So no, it's great to get some points in and try and get back up on the rookie championship.
Rookie-wise, what was previous experience before coming into Legends?
I think it was 4 years of karting. So we did that at the British Champs, British Championship level. So we did that for a while. But other than that, that's it really. We jumped straight into Legends, and that was it.
So why the switch? I mean, many things that you can do off the karts, and obviously coming car racing, but what was it that, I know Dad had a go before, but what was it for you?
Yeah, we spoke to Dad. I mean, it's a great little championship. It's not ridiculous money, you know. It's great for us to just come out, you know, me and my dad, to do it, and he's drove it previously and he said about how fun it was, and we got into it, and now we're starting to realise how good it is, so yeah.
Great to hear from Ben Higgins, who will be hoping to put the disappointment of the first race behind him in this one. Steve Whiteleg with work to do. Eduardo Gallego right in front. Ben Higgins is there, just to the left of shot in front of us. The grid, though, sees John Mickle on pole position. Chris Needham alongside. Row 2, Luke Tsukashis and Mike Schlupp. Nick Bridgman on row 3 and Ollie Schlupp next to him. So it is John Mickle and Chris Needham. Mickle in the silver number 4, the green and black 98 of Chris Needham. Up towards lights out, ready for another 8 laps of action here on Anglesey. Out go the lights and away we go. Quick start, bang, right to the back of Ben Higgins goes Miles Rudman, but as a result lost place, and I'll tell you what, it's because the 20 car, I think, has lost power. So that was not a malicious bang or even a hope of bump drafting from Miles Rudman. I think the 20 car faltering, Ben Higgins not having the rub of the green here. That's sad. After maybe it was the curse of the interview. Apologies, Ben. They're 3 wide as they exit turn 2, the banking. Steve Whiteleg up and challenging Jack Parker. Mark Beattie to the outside. Beattie trying to make up some positions around the outside. We've got Gareth Sheridan in the mix there. But the race leader is Chris Needham from John Mickle. So Mickle will be challenged. There is Ben Higgins has pulled up. That is a big shame for Ben. If he can get the car running, I'm sure they will. The Lawrence Davey team will get the car running for the final. We'll be off the front. Contact between Steve Whiteleg and Jack Parker. Parker spins around Whiteleg with the lightest of touch right in the middle of the bunch. I think we call that first lap bunchy. Other cars involved as well. Stuart McAndrew involved. Mark Beattie in green in the mix as well. Here's a replay. We're in car with Steve. He goes wide. There was a bit of a passenger then, a little bit of not too much mayhem as a result, but just a tag because he got wide. We didn't see whether Steve got forced wide out onto the dirt, but certainly once he was there it caused a bit of a problem. Will Gibson locking up ahead of Daniel Clark. 5th position is Marcus Pett, but it's John Mickle challenging Chris Needham for the lead as they go down the hill. Most of them in reasonable single file. Here comes the move from John Mickle looking for the lead. Marcus Pett looking for 4th. Mickle's going to make the move, stick down the inside. Needham down to 2nd. Across the line they go. Will Gibson in 3rd. Then it's Marcus Pett. Nathan Anthony kicking up a little bit of dirt, but John Mickle, the new race leader in this one. Miles Rudman putting a pass on here. Goes down the inside of Mike Schlupp. Next target for him will be Nick Bridgman. Bridjo starting on the 3rd row for this race. Daniel Clark ahead of him. Nathan Anthony down behind Mike Schlupp at the moment, but John Mickle clear. Now here comes Will Gibson. Gibson pulls out of the slipstream, grabs the inside line on Chris Needham, very neatly through on the way up towards Rocket, turns left on the first part, right on the second part of the complex. Great racing further back. Dylan Woodcock and the 97 car Eduardo Gago both having a terrific battle at the back. Always a pleasure to see the new drivers and the gentleman drivers, as I think they used to be known, battling it out further down the field. Great to see. And Eduardo, after his spin in race 3 yesterday, getting some valuable track time. But it's John, I tell you what, John not opening up a lead at the moment. The top 4 fairly equally spaced, a little bit of a gap back to Miles Rudman, followed by Daniel Clark and Nick Bridgman, then Mike Schlupp, Nathan Anthony, Ollie Schlupp as well, passing the point where he had his visit to the old pit wall yesterday. This is the view from Nick Bridgman coming down the hill into the left-hander. The final corner on track, there is the 68 car that we rode on board with, putting Daniel Clark under pressure. Miles Rudman ahead of them, trying to close down on the lead quartet just now. Here is the view again from Nick Bridgman through turn 1. He'll stick on the insider to go onto the banking, which is here, turn 2. 2 distinct pairs now, because Will Gibson has caught John Mickle. So it's John Mickle in the lead, under pressure from Will Gibson. Gibson fastest man in race 1. He's also the fastest man on track here in race 2 as well. Chris Needham 3rd, Marcus Pett 4th, but not for long, because Pett's going to do a John Mickle and tease his way through on the inside. But having said that, Chris Needham side by side for the lead. Will Gibson's going to try and pass on goes on the curbs. John Mickle leaving half a gap there, and Will Gibson kind of backed out of that one. Both want to get to the finish, of course. Down to Peel Corner we go again. Marcus Pett still in 4th. So Needham under a bit of pressure, a little bit of opposite lock, I think perhaps there from Chris Needham, coming down into the left-hander that brings them onto the Tom Price straight, which is where they are now. Gibson having another go though, goes wide, hard on the brakes. Is he going to be able to get the move done on John Mickle there, side by side? And Gibson goes out and tees himself up here for the inside run down the hill, which will be the inside into the final corner. So John slotting back into 2nd. It's still Chris Needham running in a fine 3rd place. Then Marcus Pett. Clawing them in is Miles Rudman. So Miles trying to close in on the lead 4. So they go across the line again. John Mickle having a little nibble there at the race leader, trying to get back through. There is always this talk with the race leaders that you can peak too soon. Now we've got 5 effectively for the lead. Admittedly, a bit of a gap back from 2nd to 3rd. But I'm sure that's going to get negated, because those 3 cars, if they work together, 3 cars will punch a bigger hole in the air than 2 that are out leading, and we need to keep an eye on that gap. But watch John Mickle. Has Will Gibson peaked a little bit too early? Further back, here is Mick Mercer in the 333. The birthday boy, of course, Bill Reid watching from the pit wall. Eduardo Gago in the mix as well. There is the 85 of Mark Beattie. Meanwhile, places change with the leading group, and it's Gibson still there from John Mickle, then Miles Rudman in 3rd. Coming up into Peel Corner again, Gibson still there. We've got the top 3 in the championship again, occupying the top 3 positions in the race and racing hard for every single point that they can get. There aren't too many championships with reverse grids where you see that. A little bit further back, Charlie Budd is ahead of Jack Parker. That's for 13th and 14th place. Sadly, a spin for Dylan Woodcock. And these maybe that's more than, maybe that's actually a mechanical retirement. And Dylan out of the race joins Ben Higgins as a retiree from this one, as the battle for the lead continues along the Tom Price Straight once again. So the penultimate lap here, and John Mickle's going for the lead, looks down the inside, there is room there, he's going to squeeze past the 57 car. Mickle goes through, Will Gibson relegated to second, Miles Rudman might want to come through as well, Chris Needham in black and green in fourth, the grey car of Marcus Pett is next up, Daniel Clark followed behind by the blue car of Nick Bridgman, then we've got Nathan Anthony. She's on to the last lap now, just 2.1 miles to go here on the Anglesey International Circuit, and it's John Mickle that leads, but here comes Will Gibson trying his hand into the banking, goes for the outside, John Mickle running over the curbs on the inside, they're side by side. Mickle's still there at the moment, Miles Rudman might try his luck to pop through on the inside of Gibson here as they go into Church Corner. Gibson's got good momentum though, and he's still there, and the eyes of the number one car intently focused on first and second, and to see whether he can make a move up towards Rocket. Marcus Pett still challenging for fourth place, just can't get the measure of Chris Needham at the moment. Waved yellows there at the Rocket Complex, so no passing allowed there. It's got Dylan Woodcock's car parked there, that's why we've got the yellow flags going in there, but it's John Mickle still here from Will Gibson. Couple of lengths lead at the moment, that could disappear in a Legends race in the matter of a single corner, or the blast along a short straight. Downhill from Peel into the left-hander onto the Tom Price Straight again. Here comes Gibson, he's going to have a go. He wants the win, as always, of course. Side by side into the hairpin. Was there a little bit of a lock-up from Gibson? Maybe not. Mickle on the inside. Gibson's got his nose in front. They go over the curbs. Oh, and tag! Gibson's car into the tyre barrier, spins around. I think John Mickle has continued. Yes, he has. He recovers in fourth place, and Miles Rudman inherits the lead. Side by side for second place now. Marcus Pett on the outside, but Chris Needham is going to hang on for P2 in the 98 car. Rudman grabs the win. There's the checker. Second goes to Needham. Third, Marcus Pett. Fourth, John Mickle. And Will Gibson, who had the fastest lap and still has the fastest lap, even as the top runners go across the line. That was back on lap 3. Is going to finish. Gibson is going to finish in 18th place. Chris Brockhurst ahead of them in 17th. We saw very briefly Luke Simmons heading the battle with Ollie Schlupp and the rookies for 10th and 11th place. So Will Gibson brings the TWG car home. Legends racing sometimes is that cruel that you can have some super racing, but it will end up in heartbreak for one or other drivers, and that's what happened there for Will. Miles Rudman, though, double winner thus far today, with Chris Needham second, Marcus Pett in third, John Mickle fourth, Daniel Clark fifth from Nick Bridgman and Nathan Anthony, Steve Whiteleg in eighth from Mike Schlupp, and Luke Simmons in 10th position. 11th goes to Ollie Schlupp from Paul Simmons and Jack Parker, Charlie Budd 14th, then Kieran Beattie, Gareth Sheridan 16th from Chris Brockhurst and Will Gibson, Mark Beattie 19th from Eduardo Gago, Mick Mercer then it is Luke Takushis from Stuart McAndrew. Non-finishes for Dylan Woodcock and Ben Higgins, and we'd confirmed the fastest lap goes to Will Gibson.
And Miles Rudman's birthday celebrations continuing, absolutely superb for Miles. He doesn't seem to like an interview, does he? I'm going to go and drag him over. So come on, Miles, let's get you over here and have a chat. And of course the difficult feat that Miles has done is to come through and take a second win. Remember, 3 races in the Legends each meeting, just shaking hands with Chris Needham there as well, who winds up in second position, Marcus Pett getting the other podium. And it always makes me laugh actually with Miles, when we're doing our media training, we tell the drivers, Miles, I'm just saying, when we do media training, we tell the drivers to zip up the overalls, and no, don't worry, mate, you be yourself, that's the main thing. But you're always well, there we go. We also tell people to do that as well. Miles, so not a bad birthday run, 2 wins out of 2, and of course it's harder, isn't it, for race 3, because you're going to be off the back. Now, what happened on that last lap? Was that behind you? Did you see anything in your mirrors, or was it in front of you? Because I was unsighted.
No, well, I was third going into the hairpin, and Will went for the lead, you know, which I wouldn't blame him to do because I'd have done the same, and unfortunately they just touched and they both sort of come off. But yeah, I mean, I was there, you know, and yeah, fortunate for me, managed to pick up the lead and take first place.
Sometimes it goes that way, doesn't it? Sometimes you can get some bad luck, but you're having a very good run at the minute.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you've got to be there anyway, you know, and yeah, you know, I had quite a long start at the back, managed to get through, catch Sean and Will up, and yeah, we was all fighting for the lead really, so it made it pretty difficult because going up the long straight here there was yellow flags, so you know, I set up a pass but I couldn't do it, so I had to be patient, and yeah, unfortunately for me it came my way in the end, so yeah, like I say, you've just got to be there to pick up the pieces, so yeah, it was great, and another win. It's great for us.
Chris, well done. Lovely to see. I think the first time I've done a podium interview with you, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is with you, yeah.
About time as well. Nice to see you. How'd it go?
Yeah, not too bad. Struggling a little bit for grip now, run out of tyres this weekend, so we had to return them on the rims that time, spun them around. So I was struggling the first half of the race for sure with back-end grip, but then it started to come to me a little bit. But when them three are at the front, I just sit and wait and see what happens, and a couple of them ended up on the grass, so we picked up 2 places at the end there. A little bit lucky, but we've got to be there to take it. So
you were at the sharp end most of it. Now you're in a team car, aren't you, this weekend? You're showing with Matt Isherwood?
Not this weekend, no. I'm doing the full weekend this weekend.
No, but over the season.
Over the season, yeah. I share that one with Matt, and I share the other car with Gareth. So
plays havoc with my stats because I've got points on one number for you and points on another number.
Yeah,
so I'll let you off because it was a good drive.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.
Well done, Marcus. Good to see you. Second podium of the weekend.
It is indeed. Yeah, no, it's a good way to continue on Sunday, so we'll take that. We had a good run in the first race to 6th, I think, so yeah, we worked our way through the pack again, up to 3rd in that one.
A lot of drivers talking about tyre degradation. It was an issue yesterday in the C1 endurance race. Is tyre degradation an issue for you, as it is for some of the other Legends drivers as well?
Yeah, the car's certainly sliding around more towards the end of the race, so I was trying to save the tyres for the last couple of laps to get stuck in, but unfortunately a double wave yellow came out at the top of the hill, which is the best point for an overtake, so that kind of neutralised that attack, but still more than happy with the results. It's a shame about the contact between the front pair on the last lap, but we'll be there to pick up the pieces.
Pole position in the final goes to Ben Higgins from Eduardo Geigo, Luke Takushis on row 2 with Mark Beattie, row 3 Gareth Sheridan and Chris Brockhurst, Kieran Beattie and Mike Schlupp on row 4. Briefly on board with Ben Higgins, 2 non-finishes of course means that he will be the lowest point scorer of the day so far, so gets the chance to get some points back hopefully with a run from the front in this race. Steve Whiteleg has some work to do in number 66, so the car's on their green flag lap, their rolling lap. Eduardo Geigo, again a newcomer, can be a really unnerving thing to do for a newcomer to be in the front of the field, but it really does give them a terrific experience. The other drivers of course will be aware of the experience of the, or lack of the drivers around them, and Ben Higgins makes a great start from Luke Takushis in second place. Third position is Eduardo Geigo as they go into turn 2. Gareth Sheridan challenging him. Then it's Mark Beattie. Kieran Beattie in the mix as well. Chris Brockhurst looking on the inside run to take third place, but it's Ben Higgins, the race leader here, from Luke Takushis, who's got away. Those two getting away very well indeed. And this is the kind of performance where we can sometimes see a first-time race winner. I'm probably speaking too soon, to be perfectly honest, but they're having a very good start of it. Ollie Schlupp goes a little bit onto the grass, 4 wide as they come up into the rocket complex. Steve Whiteleg on the outside run. This is where he had problems in one of the earlier races. Jack Parker runs wider here. Oh, a little bit of contact, little nudge on the back end from Steve Whiteleg. Again, unintentional, but part of the first lap jostling that you get in Legends cars. There's the 66 car down the inside of the blue and gold 13. So a position made up for Steve Whiteleg. John Nicol behind Jack Parker. Then it's Chris Needham who's had a good day, followed by Will Gibson. Race leader Ben Higgins. Here's Steve Whiteleg's on board, rear facing. Ollie Schlupp and John Nicol right in the mix as well. So Higgins the race leader as the cars go around the hairpin on the international loop for the first time. very much downhill, as you can see. This is a terrific vantage point and one of many great spectator viewing positions on the track. Luke Takushis has done a very good job in second position on the opening lap. And holding on to second place, building his confidence. He's done less racing than the other rookies because it's a shared car. As up into second now goes Chris Brockhurst. Here's the view from Steve Whiteleg, just a few cars back. Luke's still in third place. Off goes Mike Schlupp wide and off onto the grass. Hopefully we'll recover safely. That'll be disappointing for Mike. He is recovering and coming back onto track slowly so that he can do so safely. Great driving, great recovery driving from Mike Schlupp there. Race leaders though going down into school. Takushis still there in third place. This is great stuff from him and good from Ben Higgins out front as well. Takushis under pressure from Kieran Beattie, and in fact having a go at Chris Brockhurst looking up the inside run. Gareth Sheridan under pressure from Mark Beattie. Steve Whiteleg in the mix as well, making good progress from relatively near the back, or very near the back to be honest. Eduardo Gago still enjoying his race as well, and John Mickle tees the inside of Steve Whiteleg, who runs wide. John doesn't need a second invitation to go through. Got a great view of the stepped curbs there, which have not say been totally responsible for the tyre degradation that many of the drivers talked about, including that interview with Chris Needham that we had at the end of race 2, but certainly too much curbing and it will wear the tyres. This is a great run by Ben Higgins. As I said, this has got the hallmark of a first-time winner. It might be the curse of the commentator for him, but he's putting great speed between himself and the new second-place man, Kieran Beattie. Great drive from Kieran here as well. Wonderful to see him up into second place. And what you're seeing here is just past the midway point of the season, and the newcomers and relative newcomers in the championship just getting to grips with their confidence and the cars here. This is wonderful racing and great to see new names up at the front and staying at the front for more than just a few corners. This is what it's all about as you develop as Legends drivers. Chris Brockhurst then still second. Steve Whiteleg will look to move up a position on the inside, but it's a great move by Kieran Beattie. Passes Takushis on the inside. Whiteleg's going to follow suit as well. The door's pretty much open now, and Luke coming under pressure from John Mickle and Mark Beattie as well. So Kieran Beattie in third. Oh, that's sad news. Nathan Anthony becomes our first retirement of the race. That's bad news for the Savan. Disappointing to see. Nathan, I think, has probably had an enjoyable weekend up to this point as the race leaders go up to Rocket for the second time. Some terrific racing right the way through the field, and Will Gibson looking at Luke Takushis on the inside. Nick Bridgman is in behind. Here's the race leader though, Ben Higgins, with a mammoth lead at the moment over Steve Whiteleg. Steve will, has got that much more experience. He'll aim to close in on the rookie out front, but again, this is the great format of Legends. If you have two disappointing heats or races 1 and 2, you get the front grid in the final. It can build the confidence and send you away with a decent chance at a race win, and that's maybe what we're looking at for Ben Higgins there. Miles Rudman breaks ranks, looks down the inside. Chris Brockhurst on the outside of Mark Beattie, with Chris Needham chasing. Chris under pressure from Will Gibson in black and blue. Miles Rudman down behind them. Rudman chasing a hat-trick, of course, in this race. Now, Miles was further up in the early stages of this race, but dropped to the back, and he's starting to climb through again. Heading down towards Peel Corner goes the second place red car. Steve Whiteleg opened the weekend here in our previous programme with a win in race 1, and it's looking another strong performance from Whiteleg. He'd be forgiven for thinking he was the leader, but for the fact we saw the race leader go through the shot. This is the view back from Steve Whiteleg. Scrap on for second. John Mickle goes through and makes the pass on Kieran Beattie to assume a potential podium place. Will Gibson and Mark Beattie side by side. There's Miles Rudman in the number 1 car, side by side with the man who is third in the championship. Rudman is going to make that position, goes through. Will Gibson following him. They are slowly catching Ben Higgins, the man from Powys. Has shown some good speed, just rotten luck today for Ben Higgins, but hopefully that will have turned around for him in the final. Still a very good lead, as you can see, coming into the hairpin. Just racing himself at the moment, and will be keeping an eye on his lines, trying to get away from the car of Steve Whiteleg. So it's the Lawrence Davey prepared car. Lawrence not here this weekend, it's his dad Martin tending the car with Ben's dad, and there it is leading at the moment from Steve Whiteleg in the Bridgman Motorsport car. The Mickle Motorsport quick steel car in third place. Chris Needham having a pretty good day as well, has worked hard in this car to score a decent load of points and having to work his way through from the back of the field. So John Mickle chasing Steve Whiteleg, that's second and third. Jack Parker fourth. Haven't said a lot about Jack in this one. Apologies to the man from Wolverhampton. Had a solid weekend so far as Jack. Running well too is Kieran Beattie, but coming under pressure from Miles Rudman, the championship leader, going into church. They'll see the backdrop of the sea behind them. Here is Beattie coming under pressure from Miles Rudman. Miles makes his way up the hill in towards Rocket, but Beattie's got the line here, and Miles is going to have to move across when he gets up there, or hold on to the outside line and grab the inside for the second part of the complex, which he does. That's very fair racing from Kieran Beattie. Everybody wants to take the car home in one bit. That was brilliant stuff from him, and Miles Rudman as well. Will Gibson's going to come through on the inside. Parker's fighting back though with Miles Rudman. Those guys getting stuck in. Mark Beattie side by side, coming into the left-hander with Nick Bridgman. This is the battle for the lead though, so Ben Higgins has been caught, and on the inside, under braking, Ben Higgins has seen Steve Whiteleg coming through. The opposite extremes of experience here, the vastly experienced Steve Whiteleg and the relatively inexperienced Ben Higgins, who is racing hard here. Hard and fair racing between the pair, and Higgins has got the inside run as they come down into the final corner of this lap. Steve Whiteleg thinks about maybe having a go on the outside, then switches to the inside. Let's watch for John Mickle immediately behind, who wants to get into the lead as well. They turn into turn one. Oh, look at that control, car control from Ben Higgins. That was beautiful to see from the second place car. It's Ben Higgins that still leads from Steve Whiteleg. John Mickle in third. This is a big pressure moment here for Ben Higgins. Runs wide. Steve Whiteleg's going to have a sniff here as they go into Church Corner. Has a little look there. The line at Church is covered off. Steve was one of the drivers talking about tyre deg. And he did say it was the same for everybody, but with the performance you're seeing from him here, he's managing it extremely well, and now moves to the inside and grabs the lead. Steve Whiteleg the leader, John Mickle slices through for second, and Ben Higgins down for third. Still potentially on for a career best here. Are we going to see a podium interview in the offing for Ben Higgins? I spoke too soon about a first time win. Apologies for that, Ben. Chris Needham running well. Kieran Beattie has now been passed by him. Chris Brockhurst gets it a little bit sideways. Will Gibson and Jack Parker still working hard as well, and Ben Higgins now passed, so that podium is good as well. Apologies, Ben. Could fight back, of course. Here's the view from Steve Whiteleg. This is the race leader's view, looking out of the rear of the car with John Mickle coming up. Was he going to do a bit of bump drafting? No, he's going to go for the lead. So John Mickle fancies another international circuit race win. Powers past, completes the move, under braking into the hairpin. This is where he and Gibson had a moment coming together on race 2, and John Mickle has the race lead as they head downhill. So both of these guys have won this weekend. And Steve Whiteleg, Johnny's of course an arch rival for Steve Whiteleg, who's now got Miles Rudman in the mix as well. All of these guys as they head on to the last lap here. This is lap 10 of the race. All of them, well, 2 of them champions. Steve Whiteleg a champion contender. A little bit of passing going on further back. Kieran Beattie still having a decent race at the moment, coming under pressure from Luke Simmons. Charlie Budd is in the mix there as well. This is the view from Steve Whiteleg, second place. A little touch on the back as they go into Church. Steve will, if he's got the speed, fancy a move maybe up in towards Rocket. If he's got the pace, is he going to be helped by Miles Rudman here with a bit of bump drafting? Remains to be seen. No, he isn't. He's making his own move here, but Rudman's going to tee up the outside. Contact behind with Charlie Budd and Kieran Beattie, who tangle with each other. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead is very much on. Miles Rudman challenging for the lead. Steve Whiteleg looks to the outside. Oh, and Rudman outbrakes himself, and getting all sideways is John Mickle, and going through is Steve Whiteleg, who read that superbly. Steve Whiteleg goes through on the inside and grabs. There was a fraught battle, no contact between Miles Rudman and John Mickle. But were they just looking at each other, mirrors and to forward, and tangling with each other mentally? There's a physical tangle going on there between the 33 and the 44. And those cars are stuck there, but Whiteleg now the leader. Mickle wants the lead back, understandably, goes to the outside, Rudman to the inside. Whiteleg defending, Mickle's now got to defend second. This is the view from the race leader, Miles Rudman challenging for P2. The quick steel car on the right of shot, side by side for second, and Steve Whiteleg has come back from third place as the two leaders effectively threw it away. But this is a terrific drive by Steve Whiteleg, who gets all crossed up coming out of the corner. Mickle goes across the dirt as well, but it's Whiteleg that gets the win. Here's a replay of that final turn. Whiteleg goes wide, John Mickle goes out on the dirt as well. Miles Rudman coming through, but it was Whiteleg from Rudman and Mickle in third, Will Gibson in fourth. This is Luke Simmons and Gareth Sheridan fighting over 11th and 12th with Ollie Schlupp in behind. Mick Mercer and Eduardo Gallego still battling hard. This is for 17th and 18th position. They've had a super race, and look at it, who's going to get it? It's Gallego on the inside. Mick Mercer still working hard too. Is Mick going to get a run out of the final corner and take the battle to Eduardo? It's where Eduardo had his spin yesterday, but he holds on for that position. Charlie Budd having a little bit of a natter with Kieran Beattie. Those two sadly going out on the last lap, but what an opportune move by Steve Whiteleg on that last lap up into Rocket. Whiteleg from Rudman, Mickle, Gibson fourth, Higgins in fifth, a super result for Ben Higgins. Marcus Pett sixth from Chris Needham and Chris Brockhurst, then Nick Bridgman and Mark Beattie in 10th. 11th goes to Luke Simmons from Gareth Sheridan and Ollie Schlupp. Paul Simmons 14th, then Mike Schlupp and Luke Takushis from Eduardo Gallego, Mick Mercer and Stuart McAndrew. 19 cars finishing the race. Disappointment, sadly, for the retirees Charlie Budd, Kieran Beattie, Jack Parker, Daniel Clark and Nathan Anthony. Fastest lap went to Miles Rudman.
What an absolutely superb end to a lovely weekend that we've had here on Anglesey. A terrific race, and I've got to say, probably the best race that I've seen Steve Whiteleg drive. An absolute joy to watch from start to finish. There were lots of other drives to take away from that, midfield and down towards the back as well. Steve, what a great weekend. Obviously, we added you to the 2022 winners list this weekend, and now an absolutely thrilling race, really difficult race. So you're going to go away from here very happy indeed and looking forward to the next round.
I am. We've got time now between now and Donington, which is the next round, to probably strip the car and go through it with a fine-tooth comb, see if there's anything that we need to do with it. At this very moment in time, I'd like to say leave it alone, but I'm sure there's bound to be something that we need to do between now and then, and we've got plenty of time to do that, and that's probably what we will do.
Well done, Miles. That was a race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really tough, to be honest, because started off pretty well and then went up the long straight, up to the top into the little hairpin, and the car just sort of lost all its power, and I don't know what was going on. It was sort of like half power, and then literally everybody passed me, and I was stone cold last. And it just come back on, and I was like, so yeah, I just carried on, and yeah, I got back down to second place. But yeah, it was close, and it was a good race between me, John, and Steve at the end. So yeah, no complaints. Another podium, so that's really good for us.
That was a tough one, and three fast guys racing from what we look cleanly and fairly.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the first thing I've got to say really. All the three in me, the 66 and the one, we was bumper to bumper, wheel to wheel. Giving each other respect, and no one doing anything wrong, so it just proves how good talented the drivers them two were to put up with me, really.
Good drive from Steve too, wasn't it?
Oh, great drive from Steve, yeah. I mean, obviously he got second in the championship a couple of years ago, had a couple of years off, and I think he's come back now finding his feet, and he's back on pace. But he was a rocket. I mean, he was about 2 or 3 rows in front of me, and we sort of come through the pack together, but he drove well. He really did drive well.
And round 9 of the championship, the points look like this. John Mickle joint second with Steve Whiteleg. Miles Rudman taking the round win. Marcus Pett in fourth from Chris Needham and Will Gibson. Nick Bridgman seventh from Paul and Luke Simmons. Dan Clark completing our top 10. And as we head to Donington Park, Miles Rudman leads the championship from John Mickle. Will Gibson still in third. Steve Whiteleg still in fourth from Marcus Pett, Jack Parker, Chris Brockhurst, Paul Simmons, Nick Bridgman and Charlie Budd.
Wow, what a weekend we've had. It's been a real roller coaster. You can see we've got glorious sunshine and blue skies here with the mountains visible, snow down in mountains and the blue sea. Perfect way to end a terrific weekend of racing. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.